Dragon Ball Super card game. It is a very much of a growing game, and it has a lot to it, and a lot of people don't really give its credit to it. I think people get in kind of a hive mind, sort of tunnel vision, and that's kind of the issue here. And what I wanted to do is actually give out, or at least talk through, different engines of the game. And if you don't know what an engine is, for some odd reason, it is basically a set of cards that is found in pretty much any deck that has a quote-unquote engine, and it's the same set of cards each and every time to get to the similar and or same goal of that engine. So I'll go more into it, but basically this is not going to be the end all be all. This is the first parts. I'm only going over 5, and I'll go through each one of them. It includes both androids, the Broly engine, the Veggies package, and as well as the black package. So sit tight and we'll talk through it. If there's any other engine that you want me to talk through, or one that I got wrong, or maybe I don't even know of, let me know. Just send a comment and we'll talk through it. So the first one is oh boy, the Veggies package. And when people say veggies, they mean the kale, cauliflower, and kaba, because their names are based on vegetables. So cabbage, kale, or cauliflower, and kale is just kale. Very original Bandai / Namco / Toei Animation, so slash Toyama. So there's a lot of ways that you can take this engine and this deck, and the newest way is the yellow, red, green. Of course, I made the video of the Ginyu. A lot of people have different opinions on it, but with the new Chronoa, I'm gonna say Corona every single time. It is less viable and less fast. Okay, all right, let's try that again. It is it is less quick to play. It's less you know what I'm saying. And basically the reason why Shigesh was such a problem in this game is because of Kaba, and Kaba is the whole reason why this kind of works. So when you play this card in your battle area, you reduce the cost of Kale and Caulifla by 1, so she becomes a 1-drop because it is a green specified. She becomes a 1-drop red. She becomes a 3-drop, which is a Shigesh target, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, and you do search up the top 10 cards, and choose one Kale or Caulifla and add it to your hand. But if it is a Caulifla, which includes this 4-drop, you get to play it. So a 20,000 4-drop that searches top 7 to play Universe 6. That's always going to be an issue. So that is the main reason for this, and or the why this deck or this engine works the way it does. Caulifla is there because you don't have to KO your own cards, and you don't have to drop cards due to your own skills. You also take 1 life, so it does help for self-awakening for any green based decks. Kale is there because it is pretty much one of the best green cards in the game. Still is, even with the Shigesh issue or the Chronoa issue. And when you play this card, you choose one of your battle cards, which you don't have to if Caulifla is on there, which is why you play the Caulifla first and you play the Kale after to reduce reduce by 1 and play it with 3 energy instead, or through Shigesh if you can anymore. And then you choose any of the number of battle cards which adds up to 5 or less and KOs it. So you get to play it for free if you have Shigesh, and you get to play it for 3 if you have Kaba, or less if you have more Kabas, as you go. So that is one of that is the OG engine as far as this goes. So you play the Kaba, you search for Caulifla or Kale, you add it to your hand, or you just play it to self-awaken, and then the next turn you either Shigesh or you play it for reduced cost for the Kale, and then KO and board clear, and also draw and get critical if you have 5 or less in your hand. Alright, so the reason why I have these other red cards is because of Tournament of the Power. That is literally legit as is. If you just play the green package, it is good as is. I mean, it's honestly is really good. The Trunks that searches the top 2 for a Saiyan is really good as well, especially in a black deck if you want to swing that way. Could work in a Mira / Android deck, would be pretty cool. Anyway, This one searches the top 3 for Universe 7. This is a free blocker for Caulifla. This is draws if there's another Universe 6 on this. Universe 6 on the field. This one helps you self-awaken if it's a red Saiyan. This can't counter and gets 5,000 as a red Saiyan. So Caulifla is one of the main people as far as the leader goes. And then this one top 7, you already know. And this one board clears with 25,000 or less in KOM with a few different targets actually, because this isn't a red Kale. You can evolve on her. Since she's free, it's probably gonna be her, and then your Caulifla survives. Everything doesn't. So how do you beat this? That's a good question, right? One of the things that you have to have in every deck is unconditional removal. I don't really talk about it too much, but I do mention it whenever people do ask me, hey, what do I do about this deck? What should I change? Unconditional removal is very important, and the things that you have to remove are going to be the Kabbas and the Cauliflas, especially if you know a Kale is going to be coming, so you can force them to KO a Kabba or something else on the field. And take the hit. But what you do want to remove through my suggestion is Mass Saiyan. So if you don't know which Mass Saiyan it is, which you should by now, is the 5-drop that you pay 1 and you warp 5 or less on the field. So this Mass Saiyan right here, where you pay 1, of course, and it has double strike with 20,000. Very strong card, and if you don't have a playset of that, you should. Should you have a playset in your deck? Nah, not really. I personally run 2 in pretty much all the decks that I have, because I know I'm gonna go to a local and they're gonna have some variation of this. That's pretty much the thing that you have to worry about. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to keep up with the pace of Veggies and see if you have a Jiren or something that can attack things in active mode, like which this can, or Trunks, whatever, right? And that is pretty much it. That is pretty much all you have to do. Just remove the Kabbas. That's one of the first things you have to do. Make sure if they get it back with Trunks over power overseeing time, you're just gonna have to deal with that. Remove the Cauliflas if you know a Kale is gonna be coming, and then everything else is just gonna be treated as a normal battle card. This guy is kind of a threat sometimes, but it's gonna be up to you. That is my suggestion of how to deal with them. But there you go. Next up is the Broly engine. Pretty self-explanatory. This man searches top 7. This man helps with the leader, where you attack and you have to KO on your field or drop 1 in your field. You don't have to do that with that card. That is just the whole premise of that. Caulifla is good for self-awakening, and so if you don't have a Broly's ring, or if you don't want to play that, you can still play her and you don't have to be affected by the KO or hand. This guy gets Broly ring if you want to do that. No one really plays him though. And the real menace is the promo, which reduces. Also, it is kind of cheap now. It's like $3 or $4 or $5 or something like that as of today. So this is still a pretty good card. And when you try to evolve something, so any of these cards have, all of these cards have evolve right here. It reduces by 2 energy, 2 green energy. And you also get to KO something on the field. This used to be a good suggestion target, but I personally think you should play this later in the game, so that way you can, I was gonna say delete, but KO something on their field that's kind of high cost, and that's the only thing they have. But this is useful for the evolve premise, or the evolve sort of thing going on here. For this guy, it costs 1 energy to evolve, so you can KO something and choose it. It does have double strike and 15,000. It also is a promo card. No one really plays this, but it is also expensive for whatever reason. I don't know why. Rampaging life form Broly. I personally like this guy over this guy. Don't at me, because he is only a 2 cost to evolve, and he also, they choose 2 cards out of their hand. That is the whole thing about Broly. It is all about card control from the leader to drop 1 from their hand, and as well as the Broly cards to drop them as well. So 20,000 double strike for this guy for 2-drop, and then 30,000 double strike, and this becomes a 3 cost instead for evolve, and you get to choose them. There's not really much difference other than you randomly choosing them and then them actually choosing them out of their hand. So it's really about preference. The Black engine, I kind of put all these together because it is technically the Black / Trunks engine. So any of these targets, these are all pretty good cards in their own right. This is a quick 2-drop for 2 overrealm anyway. 15,000 attacker, really good in a Champa or just a quick attacker, but most people play these guys because this guy comes back after you warp him, and then this guy searches the top 2 and you take 1. But the whole thing for him, and this is another target that's also strong, the whole thing for this guy is the Killer Sword Trunks. So what you do is swing with this guy, and this guy you pay for, and then when it evolves, it actually goes back to active mode, so it does have double strike and 20,000. And then you choose 1 battle card and you warp with 3 or less, and you play it. So if you're going against a yellow or green leader, which is kind of in the meta right now anyway, other than Super Saiyan 3, you choose 4 of your energy, switch into active mode if you summon this chick. So you can get that 4 right back if you don't get cold bloodlusted anyway. So that is kind of a catch-22 since it is requiring a yellow leader. All these other cards, Dark Plot, same thing. You can play him right here, but it doesn't get to evolve. But you can evolve right after. So hey, there you go. You got a target now. Or you can play this guy. He just still does have double strike and 20,000. And you can always play this chick as well to untap 4 of your energy after you play her. So you untap 3 and you untap the extra 1 right then and there. So this guy and this guy is the only target as of right now. I think set 4 gives another Bardock target for this guy, and you do the same thing as the Killer Sword Trunks, where you pay the cost, which is 5, and then it has triple strike 30,000, and you warp pretty much all of their cards after you choose 5 from your warp and place in your drop area. So you also get to swing for this guy for double strike 20,000, and then you evolve after you overwhelm, and you evolve for 5, and then basically if your leader card is black only, so black leaders, you choose the 5 cards, put in the warp or in your drop area, and then boom, there you go. You get all of them. You get all of them, plus it gets around barrier. So that is pretty much what you gotta do. What you gotta do to prevent this is really only Cold Bloodlust, and as well as if you're playing against this guy, you're gonna get warped. But this guy right here, you can't really do anything about, because even for a counter for their double strike, you can't really do anything as far as like Speedy Spies attack to KO it. There's not really much you can do. The only thing you can do is watch out and reduce their hand through combo costs or whatever it may be, like a Broly engine, Android engine, so that way they don't have enough to do that. And pay attention, just pay attention to their overrealm. Any black leader, pay attention to their drop area and their overrealm. That's the really only thing that you gotta do. And if you're playing a yellow leader, you get the easy out and just Cold Bloodlust, either her, him, or him. Yeah, and that's it. That's all you gotta do, fam. I know, not too much you can do as far as that goes, I'm sorry. The Cell Engine. So the reason why people play this is because it is such an easy thing to do for Union Absorb. This guy is the main guy for the Cell Engine. So you place 1 Android 17 underneath, and you choose 1 5 or less from your deck that is a cell on top of this card. One of the things, because I main androids, Mira, sometimes other decks, but those are really the only ones I play. Basically you choose one of these guys. So these are the main targets. The tournament power one is pretty good too. It's a 2-drop blocker that restands. There you go. I just didn't add him in here, but the original engine is that you place this guy under him. This guy KOs right after you get on the field, and then you draw 1, and then you place another Android 18 to play the perfect 4 cell that drops them to remain to only 3 in your hand. So it has to have an Android, which is why usually people play 17 and 18, because it's a better curve, it's a better early game, etc, etc, over Mira and as well as Cell. But you can do that. I added Cell Birth as well if you play Cell. Some people play it, some people don't. I think it's kind of a waste at this point. I played all variations really. And this guy is the guy who reduced by 2. You still have to pay the specified cost. So when you play this guy, it is only just reduced by 1. So unless otherwise specified, this is what I usually say. So this guy you get to play for 2. This guy on the first turn, and then you start the cell chain. Most of the time, I usually wait until later in the game and let them keep guessing, and then just cell chain them whenever I can. Otherwise, I play 7 and 18 and then just beat them down with 20,000 beaters, and it's just fun stuff. Some people, what I usually do, well, okay, some people, and what I usually do is play the crit android, so either him or her. I usually main him and then run 4 of her, so 4 of him, 4 of her, 2 of her, and then you swing with him. What it says is that during the turn, if if opponent's battle card with 3 or less is dropped in the drop area due to any of your skills, and that includes the Android 16 super combo with 3 or less, you get to play her or her for free, or for 1 energy, sorry. Okay, so you drop a 3 or less, you get to play a 3 or less. That's basically what it is. And this chick, you get to drop 1 card from your hand, and then you get to restain him and do it all over again. He has critical and 20,000 if you're awakened with 4 or less. This guy prevents awakening, and then this guy helps you self-awaken by choosing 1 card in your life, and then they drop 1 from their hand. Not many people play the promo, but that is something to consider. Overall, the cell engine is really good. I think it's still going to be good, even with Android cards in the future. I hope they do get more Android cards in the future to keep this engine stronger and this deck stronger. But the way to play around it, which everybody suggests, is to play as many cards in from your hand as possible. Get these guys down with critical, not regular attacks. And just watch out for the cell chain. So if you're playing hand destruction, you know, hand destruction their hand. If you're playing blue or red, try Zeno with chain attack trunks to ruin their hand and see if they can, you know, if they have all the pieces like the 17 and 18 to sell, there you go. And pay attention to their energy. So if they're charging these guys all the time, it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to charge, or not charge, but union absorb into another one. So keep that in mind. So keep your hand cost low, pay attention to the energy, and be a little bit aggressive, but with crit if possible. If not, try to Mafuba this guy if they're trying to, if you're playing blue, if they're trying to swing and get more cards in your hand, because that's one of the methods that you can do, and then still union absorb afterwards, because you can swing, get the double strike, make them take 2, especially if they have a super combo or some combo into it to boost them up, and then still union absorb with the 18 into perfect first cell. Now your hand is even lower with more cards in your drop. There you go. Alright, the Android 13 engine kind of goes hand in hand. This is more, no one really plays this one, a lot less than the cell engine because it is a lot slower. But basically the premise is that you get this guy, which is a 4 cost. It KOs something on their field, and what you have to do is get one of these guys, the Android 14 or 15, into the drop area, and pay 1 basically after it's on the field, and then summon this guy. As soon as this guy is summoned, he KOs something as well. The opponent chooses, so for both of them, they choose both of them. And then that's it. That is really about it. That's really all there is to it. But the main thing for Android 13 is that anytime that so anytime that they drop 1 due to your skills other than this card, they have to drop an additional card. So if you have 2 of these guys, it is an infinite loop until they have no cards in their hand. Yes, that is 100% true. So if you get 2 of these guys and then play another one, do it. Just do it. It's so funny. One of the methods to get these guys into the drop, if you don't want to play the 3 and 4 costs, because it is slow, like I said, it is hefty. This guy drops 1 in their hand, and this guy drops 1 in their hand, and then they draw if it's 4 or less. This guy KOs with double strike, and then this guy you combo if it's an Android leader, and then that's it. If you don't want to do that, just combo out, and they can be in the drop, especially if you're drawing too many of them. Now, one of the things a lot of people don't play the Android 13 leader, but it kind of helps with this one. One of the things that you can do is that when this guy is on the field, you can swing, especially if this guy has critical, and then use a super combo, make them drop again, and then if this guy drops a battle card in their drop area, then there you go. They have to drop another one. And I didn't mention battle cards. I'm sorry about that. Well, the reason why I say I put this guy Beerus in there is because when they swing to the leader, they automatically have to drop 2 cards. This becomes 3 after that, and then after that they have to take the 30 or 25,000 triple strike. And if you've been doing your due diligence, which I've been using this with the cell leader just as a fun kind of deck, you can get them to less than 2 or at 2 with all the cards here, and then swing with him and then wipe their board and energy. It is fun stuff, especially if you're running the Whis. That is it. That is all that I have. It is kind of a long video, so I do apologize for that. I've been trying to shorten my videos as much as possible, but it just ends up being a talk fest, and I kind of try not. I'm so sorry, but I have fun doing them. I have fun doing them. Oh boy, I have fun doing them. And if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, and if you have any corrections for me, please put it in the comment section so everybody can see it, and that way we can have a discussion about it. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. If you aren't already, or if you are already, I appreciate you, and I do appreciate you watching and taking the time. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.